Hello everyone, this is my introduction to the vinyl community. I wanted to give you a quick tour of my gear and setup and room, and then maybe talk about a couple records you might enjoy. So let's take a look. Okay, so this seems like a good place to start. This is my table. This is the Michel Gyro SE, and it's got the Techno arm, which is a Riga modified arm. Let's see if I can get a better look at that. With the Techno weight, and it's got silver wiring, and I've got the Lyra Scala cartridge on there. Again, see if we can get a better look at that. There we go. And I've been running that for a few weeks, maybe a month or two. Enjoying it thoroughly. It replaced a Sumiko Pearwood Celebration 2, which was also excellent, but this is a line contact stylus, so I wanted to get into that. So I went that route, and of course, great thing about the gyro is how it looks when it's playing. And I can't beat that. But moving on, we've got this is the Record Doctor cleaner, which means I have to manually crank the record around when it's vacuuming. I can handle that much interaction. It's fine. A great deal, a couple $100. Recommended to anybody. Some paraphernalia. Now we've got a Sutherland PhD phono preamp, which is battery powered, so it is dead quiet, and a great preamp. And this is a Krell KAV 300 IL. See if we can get that to, there we go. It's very simple design amp, but 150 watts per channel. So it does a pretty good job of powering these boys, which is the Martin Logan Vista speakers. And you see in the background there, that's our movie screen. There's some treatment behind that movie screen, and you'll see there's treatment in the corners for bass, and also in the rear, and then side reflections as well, which are crucial. I recommend to anybody. One thing you haven't done is treat your room, and you can get away with doing it. You definitely should. This is a Bowers & Wilkins sub. I cannot remember the name of it right now, but it goes very deep. Martin Logans are rated to about 42, and this goes, I think, goes to around 20, which is most of everything you'll probably need. It's the listening position, and these are the records. Here's some booze, which helps, and then here's some of the collection. Got some box sets up here, mostly classical stuff. Beatles mono box, the great XTC singles box for Apple Venus, and Wasp Star, but a big pain in the ass. They should issue that on regular LP. Yeah, it's crazy to me that that's only in single version. You have to change. I'm not a big singles person. Having to change the singles all the time, I find very annoying. So I hope one day they release both those amazing albums on LP. So I don't know. There's a couple thousand records here, I guess. Some classical and some jazz, and then the rest is rock, pop, slash whatever. And that's pretty much it. Okay, let's talk about some records that I've been listening to or thinking about recently, and see what we come up with. Wanted to pull something from different genres. The first, I just wanted to give a kind of a recommendation for nice sounding classical records. I'm a big fan of Stravinsky, his sort of neoclassical style, which takes like a sort of a traditional classical framework and kind of messes with it in all kinds of different ways, and I kind of like that off-kilter result that he gets, and so I love a lot of Stravinsky stuff, and I wanted to recommend, if you come across these are the Stravinsky Conduct Stravinsky records. We got the Violin Concerto, we got the Firebird Ballet, and Petrushka, which is one of my favorites. These are all really nice sounding records, particularly Petrushka, which is like has some nice percussion and maybe a smaller ensemble. We get some really great hall details. So that's really nice. These are great. I forgot to mention that along with the gear, one of the most important things I just added was a what's called the HR never connected power supply for the turntable, the gyro, and it's made a huge difference. It's amazing amazingly digging more out of the grooves. It really gives you more of the hall, more of the room, more of the space that you didn't even realize was there. And what it does is obviously it disconnects your main input through your main power. It kind of separates it from the power going to the table, so you get a quieter signal, among other things. But that's really has had an amazing effect. I just got it yesterday, and I was playing records for hours. So I forgot to mention that, but it's really a worthwhile upgrade. And any time you can improve your power supply, you probably should. This is interesting. I mean, this is a record that everyone knows, but we've got a couple different versions here. And the first one is sort of the standard American version that you'll see, on the Durham label. I was never very impressed with the sound of this record. I had a UK version, but it was in bad shape, so I couldn't get much out of it. Then I read that you should seek out the Japanese King Records version, which I did, and that's this. I don't know if really there's much difference in terms of the cover, but label's a little bit different. And this is definitely a much better sounding version of this record than the standard American one that you're going to get. So that's kind of something you might not have heard. I passed that on. If you could seek out this version, I think it was pressed in '73. If you could seek out this version, you will be rewarded. It's a great version. Some I think even prefer it over the UK, but I can't say for sure because mine was in terrible shape. Speaking of UK releases, I got a UK first pressing here of Atom Heart Mother. It's been written all over. It's in terrible shape. It's barely listenable, so I'm getting another one. But I wanted to compare it because this is the recent reissue. which is very nice and very well done. It's very quiet, not overly compressed or anything like that. They really did a nice job with it. But I will say, if you listen to the song "If" on side 2 on here, and then listen to it on here, it's a difference between a very nice sounding version and Roger Waters being in the room with you, singing to you. So it's hard to make that comparison, but any of you who have experienced that kind of thing with their setups, you'll know what I'm talking about. And that might just be the age of the tapes. I mean, it could be a lot of things. I think these are digital transfers. Fine. It could be something to do with it. I don't know. But all I know is there's a realism to this one, to the UK first pressing, that I had not heard elsewhere. So, I mean, this thing is beat to heck, but I was able to hear that. So, another good one, if you don't know Nick Drake, run, don't walk, and buy everything he ever did. But if you do, you may know that they, Simply Vinyl did some pressings of the Nick Drake catalog a few years ago, several years ago, and I think they were from digital transfers, and they were fine. There were some bootleg issues. I think I had some issues with quality control. I had to send one back, but on a Pink Moon. But this is Brighter Later. This is his second album, and this is I believe it's the Back to Black version. They tried to copy the original Island sleeve and label. Not sure if this would have been on Pink Island or Pink Rim Island. Maybe it would have been Pink Rim by the time this came out. I don't know, but either way, they tried to copy that label, and I'm pretty sure these were mastered from analog tapes, and they sound amazing. So if you bought the Simply Vinyl ones, I would say go out and replace them with the Back to Black ones. They're just that much better. Everything is just that much more present, cleaner. The vocal you can really hear his whispered, breathy vocals on this better than the other versions. This is something I was just listening to last night, and given that Leonard Cohen died, it's recently, it's kind of a good one that I discovered recently, and this is Famous Blue Raincoat. This is Jennifer Warnes, Songs of Leonard Cohen. This is a great album, which I had never really known about before I'd heard of it, but I'd never went out and bought it. And it's a great sounding record, very well produced for an 80s production. She's a great singer, and the songs are great, and you just can't lose. So I would definitely recommend that one. And we'll throw some jazz in. This is Lee Morgan's Leeway I got recently. Was listening to this past couple days. Really good, really enjoy it. This is one of the Blue Note reissues, which are very affordable. The albums are usually pretty damn good, the ones you're going to come across. And the sound, I'm not going to say the sound is hit and miss. Some sound better than others. This one is very good. I was just listening to a bass solo on here, which is really pretty astounding. But I think these are high res digital masterings. I'm pretty sure they are, but they're well done. And for $20 or whatever you're gonna pay for these classic albums, they sound really terrific. So can't complain at all for that deal. And this is another great one. And that's all I have today. This is my first video. I hope it went okay. Maybe I'll try to make some others, I hope, and connect with some of you guys in the vinyl and gals in the vinyl community. See you next time.